Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yeah, I can hear everybody. So whatever who is the people who don't have access of the Google Drive right now, we'll discuss at the last. Okay, don't worry about that. Let me recap what we have discussed in the last classes, right? So if you guys remember that I told you, right, the first CCNA classes has started in the first CCNA certification has started in the 1998, and Cisco has a major impact on the Cisco certification. And we have discussed that if the person is planning to go for the CCN exam, they can go with the CCN exam. After that, they can go with the CCNP exam. In the CCNP exam, we have seen that we have the major paper is called as the N4 paper, right? And after that, we have a 7 paper is a concentration paper. So concentration means what? It's an optional paper. If you want to give, you can give it for the better certification. So, and after that, what happened? After that, you can go with the CCI exam. In the CCI exam, what happened? You have a lab paper. So directly, once you pass the N4 paper, then you can jump to the CCI lab. So this is the mandatory certification, right? This is the mandatory certification for the CCI lab exam. And for example, I give you the 2 examples, if you guys remember that. So there's a one guy and there's another guy. The guy name is A and the guy name is B. Take example, right? If A is planning to do the CCI, right? They don't have any plan for the CCNP and anything. They just have a planning for the CCI. What he can do that? He can directly give the CCNP N4 paper, right? And they can jump to the CCI lab exam, right? In that way, what happened? This guy will save the money, nothing else. This guy will only gonna save the money. But if the person has a CCNP, right, they only planning for the CCNP, they don't have any plan for the CCI for the next 2 and 3 years, what he can do that? He has to give the N4 paper, first of all, right? And then it has to go with the concentration paper. One of the concentration. So maybe it can go with the SD-WAN, the concentration paper, right? Or maybe it can go with the NRC, right? And maybe it can go with the automation, anything, that's fine. So these things we have discussed in the last classes. I hope this thing is clear to all of you. One of the guy has asked the question also, this one. Is it a mandatory to take a CCN exam to go for the CCNP? It's not a mandatory. If you go hierarchy, that's good. But if you have a budget issue, you can directly jump to the CCNP exam. So there is no need to go with the CCNA first. If you're going with the hierarchy, that's a good thing. If you have a budget issue, you can directly go to the CCNP exam for the N4 exam. Now, so this exam, you can go in the Pearson Center. So right now, 2 things is happening. After the COVID, right, many things have changed, right? You can give this exam either online in the sense of what? You can take exam on your personal laptop, right? You have to book the exam before the 1 day and 2 days. You need to check the slots, first of all. And if the slot is available for the tomorrow, you can take exam tomorrow as well. So there is no like a dates and something like that. If you're ready for the exam, if you have a money right now, you can take exam tomorrow as well. If the slots are available. If the slots are not available, then you have to go to the next day. And either you can go to the Pearson Center, right, to take exam over there. So both options are available. Mostly people are doing the, Pearson Center. The reason is that because if you have a bad internet connection and, somehow if you lose the connectivity of the internet during the exam, right, you might be failed. I'm not saying that you will be failed, you might be failed. The reason is that if you raise the complaint to the Cisco, right, might be Cisco will give you the money, or maybe the Cisco will give you the re-attempt exam as well. So this happened with the summer student. That's why I'm telling you. So if the Pearson Center is nearby you, I personally recommend you go with the Pearson Center and take exam for that one. Okay, so I hope this thing is clear to all of you, the CCNP tracks and the CCI tracks. Now, before I'm going to start the networking, what is network, right? Let me tell you some basic history over the networking, right? Not the history of the networking. Let's see how the communication was happened in the 15th century. Let's go. Because, whenever you are learning something in the networking, whenever, right, whatever if you're learning the enterprise, if you're learning the service provider, if you're learning the data center, anything, try to correlate each and everything with the real world. If you're able to correlate, you will never forget that particular topic. Never ever. And personally, I'm telling you, try to correlate. Take some time, maybe the 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? 15 minutes. Avoid mobile, like avoid using the Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube shorts, right? Give some time to the thinking over the networking. And I'm telling you, you will never forget the topics. So let's talk in the back 15th century. What happened in the 15th century? How the take example, there was a two king, right? So there's a king in Jaipur, right? And this is the king. And there's another king in the Delhi location, right? So if I talk about in the 15th century, right, how the communication was happened, right? So there's a one king in the Jaipur location, another king was a Delhi location. If this guy is planning to do some attack, maybe in the, you know, in a different location, or this king is belongs to the maybe take example in the south side, okay. And if this guy, the Jaipur king, is planning to make an attack on the south side, so he might he wants to take a help from the Delhi king, right? What he will do that in this case, right? He will write the message, right? Because on that time there was no phone call, there was no internet. So what happened? He will write the message over there, and what he can do that, either he can take a help of birds, right? Either he can take a help of the birds, or either what happened, he can take a help of the messenger, anything. So what he will do that, he will take a help of the messenger. So there is a messenger. What this messenger will do that, he will take this data, right? And he will pass this data to the Delhi location. And in this data, what happened? The Jaipur king is saying, hey, Delhi, I want to make an attack on the South king, and I need your help over there. So this is the information that a Jaipur king sent to the Delhi. What is this? What is happening over there? This all is happening is called the communications. And this communication is called as a networking. So networking is not a new thing. If you're still thinking, okay, networking has recently come in the picture right now, it's not a new thing. On a daily basis, you guys are doing the networking. Right now, we are doing the networking. If you're talking to somebody, you are doing the networking. If you're talking to your parents, colleague, you are doing the networking. Networking means what? Basically, the simple word, right? The purpose of networking is what? Exchange the data. What is data? Data could be the information, right? Information could be anything. Right now, my information is what? The Jaipur king is saying that I want to make an attack to the South king. I need your help. So this information is present over there. This is the messenger who is carrying this information to the Delhi guy.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
standard communication to each other, that is called networking.
I'm coming to the point. Hold on, Jaya. Just give me, I'm not
Okay,
coming to the.
okay,
So
okay.
this is how the communication was happening in the 15th century. After that, what happened? Right? People were working hardly to improve this communication. Because in this communication was what happened. If the Jaipur king want to send any information to the Delhi king, normally on that time, it would be take the maybe the 3 days, maybe the 4 days, or maybe the 5 days as well, depend on the how faster this messenger is. Then what happened? The revolution comes in the picture, right? Then we took a help of the birds. It took the almost 2 days, right? Then after that, what happened? The telephone comes in the picture. Then radio comes in the picture. And then after that, internet comes in the picture. So if you see the how the evolution was happened for the communication or network, we can see that from here to here, messenger, telephone, radio, and internet. But if you see the common part, if you see the common part of everything, right? Either messenger, telephone, and radio, internet, common part is what? Exchanging the data. Exchanging the data. Data could be anything. Your data could be either your text information, right? Either your video information, or either your music, anything. If you're downloading the movies, right, that's called as information as well. So networking is what? Networking is a mechanism, right, that helps you exchange the data between two or more devices. If you're exchanging the data between the two or more devices, that's called as a networking. The main purpose, if you see, the main purpose to exchange the data, the motivation, right? The motivation of networking is what? To exchange the information. Your information could be anything. Either your information is a text, like for example, I'm saying, hey, how are you? Right? Either your information could be the video that you're downloading the movie, right? Either the music, anything that you're sharing, it's called as a networking. For example, if you see this definition, what happened? I have a few devices. Right now, the PC one. Take example. This is the one of the client we have. This is another client we have over there. And this is the another client we have over there, right? So if I'm gonna share, right, some information, for example, this PC1 wants to share the information with the PC2 at the same time PC3, this is called what? This is called as a networking. Because eventually the PC1 can communicate with the PC2 and PC3 as well. So in this way, what I'm extending, maybe I'm extending I'm sending the $50. The PC2 is sending maybe the $30 to me. Maybe I'm sending the music over there, or maybe the videos over there. The main purpose, exchanging the information. Now this networking, right now, Zoom calls, we are doing that. What is this call? This is called as a networking. Right now, we are delivering the video communication. This is called as a networking. When you're talking to someone on the phone call, that's called as audio networking. When you're sending the data from one, when this class will be over, what I'm going to do that? I will put this video on the drive, then you can download it. That's called as a networking. Because anyways, we are exchanging the data. This networking is further categorized in the three types. One is called as a LAN, another is called as a MAN, and third is called as a WAN. The LAN stands for, right, local area network. Again, don't worry with the names. These are just a terminology. I'll help you to explain each and everything. I will show you the examples and the practicals of each and everything. Don't worry about that. Then we have another type of networking is called as a MAN. That's called as a metropolitan area network. And the third type we have it's called as a WAN, wide area network. Three types we have a networking, right? So you can categorize the networking in the three types. Either you can categorize in the LAN, MAN, or WAN. LAN, if you see the name of that one, just focus on the name only. Local. Local means what? The local means within the home, a building. That's all. So if I'm sharing the information within the home, for example, this is the one home I have, right? And make it take example, either it's a building, right? What happened? I have a PCs over there, right? We have another PCs, we have another PCs, right? And if these guys are extending the data, right? If these guys are extending the data, that's called as a LAN networking. Either it could be the home, either it could be the building, either it could be the room. The second type of the networking we have, it's called as a metropolitan. Again, focus on the name. Metropolitan means what? He's talking about the city. So for example, right, I have one city, right? And I'll take example of the Bangalore. So this is the Bangalore. And in the Bangalore, we have a one bank that's called as SDFC. So SDFC bank is there in the Bangalore location. So what happened in a Bangalore itself, you will have a multiple branch of the SDFC. So you will have a branch of the Koramangala, right? You will have a branch of maybe BTM layout, and you will have a branch of what? HSR layout. And in this branch office, I have some server, maybe these servers are there. These are the PCs, right? These are the hosts that we have, right? At the same time, we have another PCs over there. So if I'm going to provide the communication between this branch office, that network is called as what? LAN. This network is called as what? It's LAN. If I tell you the practically, right? Practically, only we have a two types of network. One, we have a LAN. One, we have a WAN. Man, this one, the metropolitan area network, it's just an extension of what? It is just an extension of the LAN. So if I'm gonna create the big LAN network, right? That's called as a MAN. The third type of network we have, it's called as a wide area network. As the name suggests that it's a wide, means what? It's a big, large, huge. It means that he's talking about something like a big, right? Something like the communication is going to happen between the countries, between the cities. So take example, I have a one location, right? In Cisco Delhi. Take example, these are the users are sitting in the Cisco Delhi, right? And we have another branch office, maybe in London, right? If I'm going to provide the communication between the Cisco Delhi to the Cisco London, take example, take one more branch. So maybe I have another branch in Jaipur. Okay. So what happened in that case, these guys are going to provide the connectivity with the help of a new person, and that person is called as a service provider. In that case, what happened? I do have a connectivity with the service provider. I do have a connectivity with the service provider, and I do have a connectivity with the service provider. Now, this Cisco Delhi can communicate with the London users, and the London users can communicate with the Jaipur user, and Jaipur users now can communicate with the Delhi users. This type of communication, right, is called as a WAN. So we have a LAN that comes in the same building. We have a MAN that comes in within the city, right? Even if you have a take example, if you're living in the society, right? And in the society, what happened? You have a multiple buildings, and if you want to connect those buildings, right? Take example, I'm living in the one society, right? Where I have a 6 buildings over there. And if I'm going to connect all the 6 buildings into the same network, right? I call those guys a MAN. And the third type, we have a wide. Wide means what? When the communication is going to happen between the 2 cities and 2 countries, that's called as a WAN. The wide area network. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. The major or the important network type is what? Either it's called as a LAN or either it's called as a WAN. Even if you go in the more depth about the CCNP and the CCI level, and then later on you will go with the CCD and service provider and those security part and data center part, you will only face these 2 words, LAN or WAN. You will never face the word MAN. MAN is just a definition. I can call this guy as a WAN too. because eventually I have a connectivity with the service provider. I can call this guy as a WAN too, but just for your like a practically purpose, right? Definition purpose, this kind of network is known as a WAN because it comes in the same city. Now, focus on these three types of network. The major purpose of these three guys are what? The major purpose of these three guys are to exchange the information. Information again could be anything, either your data, that's like here how are you, I'm sending the some email to you, maybe the videos that you're downloading it, maybe you're watching the movies, maybe listening the music on the Spotify, right? Maybe you're making a video call with someone else, making a video chat, making the Zoom call right now. All these things, we are exchanging the information. This is called as a networking. Questions, guys?
Yes, sir. I have a question. For example, when you set up man and a van, do you use the same equipment?
What do you mean by the yeah, equipment means yeah, same equipment, right? So in that case, we have a routers over there. It's depend on the requirement. Either you can use the routers over there, right? Either you can use the firewalls over there. It's totally depend on the requirement wise requirement. Yeah,
Okay,
but mostly, yeah, same.
same. Yeah, all right, thank you.
So there is no special like equipment are dedicated for okay, you have to have use this is for the man, or you have to have use this is for the WAN. Yeah, we have a dedicated equipment for the LAN or WAN as well. Dedicated, yeah, we have. That's for example, let me tell you. So we are not going to discuss this equipment right now. The equipment is called as a switch, and the equipment is called as a router. We'll discuss this terminology later on, but yeah, we have a dedicated equipment for this guy, but we don't have any dedicated equipment for the man and WAN. Yeah, if you want, you can deploy the firewall as well if you want, just for the security reason. All good? Now, the next thing, right, comes in the picture. Okay, this is the LAN, this is the man, this is the WAN. Another type things we have to understand over there, the types of traffic. In networking, right, the majorly we have a three types of traffic. The one is called as a unicast traffic. Another is called as a broadcast traffic, right? And third type is called as a multi. These are the major. Again, if you have something in your mind, oh hey, law, there is another type of traffic is called as unicast, and those things leave that one. Okay, that's not major comes in the traffic part. That's a feature, right? You want to deploy these are like if you want to deploy the anycasting, you have to deploy the certain requirement for that one, right? Certain features you need to deploy it. So the major types of traffic we have is called the unicast, broadcast, and multicast. The simple terminology, unicast means what? One to one. Simple language. Broadcast means what? One to all. Multicast means what? One to many. Take example. Take example. If there's a guy's name is a Vinod, right? And the second guy's name is Aruna. The third guy name is, I'll just draw over here, Dibya, and the fourth guy is a Mirza, right? Now, try to understand if the Dibya wants to communicate with the Vinod, right? If the Vinod and Dibya wants to communicate to each other, in this kind of communication is known as a unicast. It means that there's no involvement of the Aruna and Mirza. The communication is only happening between the Vinod and Dibya. There is no involvement of the Aruna and Mirza. This type of communication is called a one-to-one. For example, if I'm gonna call somebody, right? For example, if I'm gonna call the Aruna, right? just make I have a number of Aruna, I'll make a call to the Aruna on my phone. That's called the one-to-one communication, unicast communication. Let me give you the example. Whenever you're sending the email to somebody, right? If you're sending the email to me, that comes in the unicast communication. Now, what happened if the Binod wants to inform everybody? Take example, if the Binod has a planning, right? So take example, if the Binod throw the party, right? He got something right, and he wants to throw the party. So if this guy will throw the party, what happened? He need to inform everybody. He will say that, hey, okay, listen, I'm gonna making a broadcasting to the everyone. So everyone should come in my flat, right? So that we can throw the party over there. So he can do the broadcasting in that case. He will inform to this guy, and this guy. He's telling to the everybody. That comes in the broadcasting. I'm informing to the everyone, please come to my flat. There is a party is going on. But
repeat this, sir.
Sorry.
Please repeat the broadcast.
So take example of wants to give the some party, right? And he wants to inform everybody, right? In that case, what happened? He cannot use the unicast. Take example. Let me give you the unicast example again, and then I'll come to the problem. Then I'll explain the broadcasting. So right now the Binod wants to communicate with the Divya, so they are doing the unicast communication. In this case, what's happening? Only the Vidya is communicating with the Divya right now. So only one packet they are sending. Right? Understand this concept. Now, Binod wants to inform everybody, hey, there is a party is going on my flat right now. What he will do that? Either he can send the one-to-one message to everybody. In that case, what happened? He will send the one packet to this guy as well, right? And at the same time, he will send to this guy as well as one packet. So what happened? He has to do the 3 times, right, calling. It means first he will inform to the Divya, then he will inform to the Aruna, and then he will inform to the Mirja. That's not a feasible solution to sending the unicast message to everybody. Instead of that, what he will do that? He will just send the one suit, right? He will say, hey, there's a party going on. There's a party going on. You need to come to my flat. So in that case, what happened? I'm only sending a one times call.
Sir, so much conference call can.
Conference call. Conference call. I'll come into the point. Don't worry about that. I'm coming to the point. After the broadcasting, I'm going to come to the multicasting. Conference is not a broadcasting. Now, the third type of communication is known as a multicast. Multicast, like most of the people, right? It's just like the Saho just gave the example of the conference. Conference is not a broadcasting. Even the watching the television is not a broadcasting. Listening the radio is not a broadcasting. All things comes in the multicast. Multicasting is what? One to many. For example, I don't want to inform to the Aruna there is a party going on my flat. Take example, Binod don't want to involve Aruna in this picture, right? What he will do that? He will logically create one group. He will logically create one group. Now, in this group, what happened? He will just tell to the person, hey, there is a party going on. Now, what happened? Whoever the person is sitting in this group, only those person can receive the message and they will respond it. Aruna will never involve in this party because Aruna is not a part of this group. If the Aruna is not a part of this group, they cannot join the party. The best example of the multicast is what? Your WhatsApp group. So normally what happened in the WhatsApp group, instead of sending the message to the everyone, right? That's a broadcasting, right? Take example, Happy New Year is going on, right? So what happened? What you guys doing? Normally you just type the Happy New Year and you're just putting the broadcasting keyword, right? What happened? This message to be sent to the everybody. But I don't want to send to the everybody. I will just create a one group and only send the message to that particular group. That comes in the multicasting. Watching the movie, multicasting on the Netflix, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hotstar, it comes in the multicasting. Radio channels, it comes in the multicasting. Those things are not broadcasting. You will understand this multicast concept, right? When you're going to do the CCI exams, right? CCI preparation, then the complete multicast chapter is there over there, almost 30 hours of the section. Then you will understand, oh, wow, that's how the multicast works on the Netflix and Amazon Prime. So majorly, we have our three types of
Yes,
traffic. One is called as unicast, multicast, and broadcast. Question, guys.
Yes, sir. For example, this Zoom session, is this a
It's a multicast.
broadcast or
It's a multicast.
multicast?
It's a
All
multicast.
right, thank you.
Okay, let me tell you why. So what happened in the multicasting? Okay, I think so. I don't have a WhatsApp. Is anyone? Let me check. Hold on, I'll give you the example of it.
hello.
Yeah, I'm just
The
saying.
mail,
See, 1 minute, I'm coming to it. So if you see what I did over there, I just sent a one link, right? What you guys did over there. You just click on that link and you just join the session, right? That's called the multicasting because there is a group. And what's the name of this group? This link is a group name. If I'm gonna send this link to the everybody, then what happened? It will comes in the broadcasting, but who will be the join this group? That's called the multicasting. So Zoom call is again, it's multicasting. Even if you are watching the YouTube channels, right? That comes in the multicasting. Yes, someone has asked me a question.
the mail is a multicast, broadcast.
Mail. So are you sending the mail to the somebody or everyone? It's depend, right? If you're sending the mail to me, for
First,
example, you are the Sahu, right? So you are the sender. So you are the Sahu, you are the sender, and the receiver is what? Law. So what you got?
yes,
Is it a unicast or
unicast.
multicast? It's a unicast, right?
You, yes.
Now, let me give you the example of this one. So forget right now what the tools I'm opening right now, what I'm gonna do the configuration. I just want to show you the example, nothing else. Okay. And now I'm going into that. I can show you the unicast and broadcast example over here. For the multicast, I'll show you the example on the some other platform. So forget it right now, what device I'm using, what cables I'm using, leave it right now, what IP addressing I'm using, leave it. That's not a concern right now. You need to understand the unicast and broadcast behavior right now. That's all.
Okay, sir.
So I have 4 laptops right now in front of you, and let me put some cable and switch. So again, I'm repeating, I'm not showing you any practical right now. I'm just showing you the difference between the unicast and broadcast. That's all. Okay, and let's keep some IP. So perfect, perfect. Now you tell me one thing. Okay, and I'll put some packet right now from, so take example, I'll let you know, this is the one. if you don't know the IP address, leave it right now. Okay, you just assume that, okay, let's make it simple. This is the PC number 1, this is the PC number 2, PC4 and PC3. Simple, normal terminology. Now, I'll put the packet over here from the PC1 to the PC4, right? See the capture right now. Okay, the PC is in the packet to the switch right now. And what kind of communication is this happening right now? See the capture. What kind of communication is that?
This is one to many.
Broadcast.
This is one to all, right?
One to
Broadcast.
This is one to all. It's a broadcasting.
Broadcast.
Because the PC1 has sent the packet, it was received by this one. Okay, they have dropped it later on, but it's a broadcasting. Now, focus over there now, second part. See this one, this packet. When this guy is giving the reply, this reply is sent to whom? The PC1. What is called now?
Unicast.
Unicast.
one to
Right. So now you understood the difference?
yes.
Great. Now, again, you will also do this practical, but not now. Wait for some days. Maybe, I think so. You have to wait for the Monday, right? But yeah, definitely you will be able to do this practical as well.
So same multicast is a broadcasting to all
For the
systems, right?
multicasting, it's a long configuration. For the multicasting, I need to enable the protocols and something. So better to show you the multicasting on my GNS3 with the help of EIGRP. Don't worry, I'll show you that. Because if I'm going to do the multicasting lab over there, it will take the 1 hour to just draw the lab. So I'll just show you how the multicasting is working, not everything, don't worry. Okay. And what I can do that. My browser is hold on, sometimes it's create a problem. Not a big deal. No. Okay. And here we go. 3275. I need to switch. Now switch. We have one, two, one, two, one, two. So the real behavior of the multicast that you can see in the actual multicast when you want to deploy the protocol is name is a PIM of the multicast, then you can see the real behavior. But yeah, something I can show you over here so that you can understand the basic thing of the multicasting. But again, the grouping is called as a multicast. Let me do one thing. Screen is fine. Let me know if you guys feel the small size of the font. I can increase it, but I think so 16 is good. Again, leave the configuration part right now. Understanding the technology. That's all. Okay. Okay, again, I'm repeating, leave the configuration part, what I'm doing right now. Ignore this thing. A lot of words missing. Because I just want to show you the practical things. That's all. Sharing. And that's all. Guys, what I did, let me tell you, I just made a one group. So I have just configured one of the protocol. Name is a EAGRP, right? And this protocol is using the address is known as a 224.0.0.10. It's a reserved address for the multicasting. Again, it's a little bit high level. I know who is new for the networking. I know it's a new for the high level, but understand the terminology right now. What I did, I just configured I just called you understood EAGRP is a guy. Okay, I just called the EAGRP on this router number 1. And then I called the EAGRP on the router number 3. And then I called the EAGRP on the router number 2. You know what he did? Have a look. If you just go on the router 1, right? And if you see the do show IP interface 0/0, forget the command line, focus on the understanding. He has joined the one multicast group, right? That's a .10. So router 1 has just created the one group right now, right? Let's go to the router number 2 now. Do show IP interface 0/0. He also joined the same group. Now, if you go to the router 3, he also joined the same group. If you go to the router 4, he doesn't have anything. It means that we have a logical group, right? Between R1, R2, and R3. Have a look. R1, router 3, router 2. But router 4 doesn't have. What we call this group name? .name. It means that if router 1 is sending the any multicast traffic, if router 1 is sending any multicast traffic, it will never go beyond the group. It will only send to the router 3 and router 2. It's not going beyond the group now. This is the address. Same thing, the Zoom link that you guys are using right now, that's a address. With the help of that address, what happened? You guys are joined my group, my channel, where I'm sending my data to you guys. That's an example of the multicast. If take example, if this packet comes to the router 4, then it's called what? It's called will be a broadcasting. But I'm not doing the broadcasting. I'm doing the multicasting because router 4 is not able to receive any multicast traffic. Now you understood?
Yes.
Great. Now, let's go in the more detail. Let's go in the back again, examples. So there's a guy, okay. His name is Amit. Okay. There's another guy. Maybe his name is Puneet, right? So Amit is, is living in the Bangalore HSR layout. Okay. Guys, please pay attention. Bangalore. Because I'm gonna introduce the two new things for you guys. Okay. And Puneet is living in the Delhi. I really have no idea where he's living. I think so it's living in the near Charmurti, something call it. Or maybe take example, he's living in the Pashchim Bihar, right? Delhi. Now, understand this concept. So, Amit has a plan, right? He wants to gift something to the Puneet. He bought a one iPhone, right? And he wants to send this iPhone to the Puneet. So take example, this guy has bought the iPhone, right? And what he did, he just encapsulate this iPhone with the some box, right? Covering something is known as an encapsulation. When you buy something from the Amazon, what happens? For example, if you buy t-shirts from the Amazon, so they will put that t-shirt into the one box, or maybe they will put that t-shirt into the one polythene, right? That's encapsulation is happening. Now what happened? After putting the box of this on this iPhone, right? What is the major part we need to write? The major part we need to write, the source is what? All good. Destination is what? Okay. So now if I'm going to put this all information, then what I have to do that, what the Amit is going to do that, he will send this information to whom? The third party is the courier guy. The third party is the courier guy. What this guy will do, they will take this message and deliver to the Puneet. And that's amazing. This is called the communication, one-to-one communication, right? Finally, we are able to exchange the data. Now, let me tell you one thing. Tell me one thing. What happens if I'm not going to give these information? If they don't have any information, and if they don't have any information, can I deliver this packet? Is it possible to deliver the packet if
No.
we don't have any addresses? Right?
No.
It's not possible. Whoever are living on the earth right now, every person has an address. I'm living in the Bangalore, right? Somebody else is living in the different country. Somebody living in the different cities, right? Every person has the addresses. So Amit has an address and Puneet has an address, right? Now, this address is represent that. Apply. I need to write it. This address is represent that the location of that person, right? This address is represent the location of the person. Now, understand again concept. What happened if I'm going to remove the Pashchim Bihar from here in the packet? Will this guy able to deliver this packet?
No.
Great. It means that we need to know the complete address, right, of the person. Then I can deliver the packet to the correct guy. On a earth, every person has a identification, right? That address is the identification. My address is like I'm living in the C block, right? So that's my address. I'm living in this flat. Same way, right? On an internet, what happened? Whatever the devices are present right now, either the devices could be the PCs, either the devices are mobile, or either your devices are the printer, right? Either your devices are the normal system, server, right? A router, a switch, a WLC, right? Whatever the devices are present on the internet, every devices has a identification. Every device has an identification, and that identification is known as a IP addresses. And these addresses are globally unique. Globally unique in the sense of what? In this complete world, if this guy has some addresses, maybe XYZ, the same other person could be have a different address, maybe ABC. They cannot have a XYZ. So your IP addresses, right, is the identification of that particular device at the same time that identify the location as well. And this address is a globally unique. So for you, for me, I'm living in the Raisandra right now in the Bangalore. Okay, so that's my addresses. That's unique for me, right? I'm living over here in the flat C block 1010. That's only for me. Same way, whatever the devices are present on the internet side, all they have a unique addresses. And that address is called as IP addresses. These IP addresses are represented in the dotted decimal format. These addresses are represented in the dotted decimal format. It's a 4-byte, right? The size of this guy is a 32-bit, known as a IPv4, right? That's IP Internet Protocol. The version is 4. It's not like that there is no other version 1 and version 2 and version 3. There was a version 1, version 2 and version 3, but that version was only for the experimental purpose, never been used. So the finally they came with the IP version 4. The size of this guy is a 32-bit and the representation of this guy is a dotted decimal format. The first thing you have to notice over there, the first term, dotted means what? There should be dot over there. Decimal means what? There should be a number from 1 to 9. So it could be anything. It could be the 2.2.2.2.2, where this 2 is going to represent the 8-bit. This 2 is going to represent the 8-bit. This 2 is going to represent the 8-bit. And this 2 is going to represent 8-bit. It could be the 1.1.1.1.1 as well. It could be the 8.8.8.8 as well. So if I'm going to define the address for this PC as a 1.1.1.1, I can define the 2.2.2. for this server. I cannot define the 2.2.2. for this guy. Cannot. Because this address has to be unique. I can define that this guy is a 3.3.3.3. And this guy is a 4.4.4.4.4. So always your IPv4 addresses, right? It should be in the dotted decimal format. And each octet, so there's an octet over there. It's an 8-bit. The 8-bit is called as an octet. There's a 4 octet we have. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the range of IP addresses, if I talk about, right? The range of IP addresses, if I talk about, the range is started from the 0 to 255. Again, I'm repeating, it's a dotted decimal format. It's not a hex format. Decimal means what? It's a 0 to 9, sorry, not a 1 to 9, it's a 0 to 9. A number between 0 to 9. The range of the IP addresses is a 0 to 255. So you can take any IP addresses range. I can take the 1.1 to the 2, 10.1.72.2, anything, it's up to you. But furtherly, right, to simplify the more IP addresses, what IANA did, IANA is one organization who is responsible for giving the IP addresses. The IANA stands for Internet Assign Number Authority. This is the one organization. The major role of this organization is what? To give the IP addresses. To whom? To the client. Who is the client for the IANA? The client for the IANA is a service provider. And then service provider is giving the IP address to us. So IANA will give the IP addresses, range of IP addresses. IANA said, hey, let's make a simply, the range of this guys are 0 to 255. Let me make a simply. What they did, they classify this range into the 5 format. They classify this range into the 5 format. The first format, they say that, okay, this is called as a class A. They divided this 0 to 55 from 0 to 2, they divided into the 5 format. The first format is known as the class A. IANA say that in the class A, right, I will put the range of the IP addresses 0 to 126. It means that 0 dot to 126 dot 0. Then what he did, he said, okay, let me introduce the another class, because the range of the total we have, this is the range we have, right? So they introduced the another class is known as a class B. And the class B, we have the range is 128 to 191. It means that we have a range something like that. 128.0.0.0 to 191.0.0.0. Then he said, hey, let me introduce the another class, the class C. That's a range start from the 192 to 223. The range is start with this guy to this guy. Then he introduced the separate class, a class D. This class D has a special rule. You cannot assign the class D to the any PCs directly. It's a special use case of the class D. The range of the class D, first understand the range, then I'll come to the use case of this range of as well. 224 to 239. And then finally, we have a class E. A class E start for the 240 to the 255. That's all classes. What IANA did, they just divided this 0.255, 0 to 255 into the 5 classes to make a simplification, nothing else. They can put it right in the single class as well. But to simplify, what they did, they divide into the classes, and now we have for the 5 classes. The first 3 classes, let me write on over there, range IPv4 format. The range is 0 to 255. IANA assign number. Now, the major three, class A, class B, and class C, the use case of this guy is in unicast and broadcast. It means that you can use these addresses for the unicast and broadcast communication. So if you want to send the unicast traffic, you can go with the class A, class B, and class C. If you have a multicast traffic, right, then you have to go with the class D. That's only for the multicasting. Then last, the class E is reserved for the documentation purpose. You cannot see in the production anymore. So that's the 5 classes we have. Again, I'm repeating. We had a IP version 1, IP version 2, IP version 3. Experimental purpose, right? But never been used. Then we came with IPv4 use case. We are using this thing in the nowadays everywhere. Again, the IPv5 is for the streaming purpose, right? And further IPv6 we have.
Sir, why we haven't used that number of 127?
127 is reserved for the low backs. I'll come to the point. Don't worry about that. Why? What is the use of this thing? No worry.
Sir, I had just a little quick question because I'm a little bit confused here.
Yeah.
Let's take for an example class A.
Okay.
You said it starts from 000 till 1266.0.0.0. Isn't it 1 to from 0.0.0
The IP
to
is gonna
126.255.255.255?
that range that you can define the IP addresses till the 126.255.255. This is the IP address that you can use it. The IP address that you're gonna use it, it's gonna use by the 1.1.1.1. For example, if I'm gonna use the IP address, the first IP addresses, right, for this guy should be the 1.0.0.1. The last, if you go, it comes like at 126.1.255.255.255. Like that. We'll discuss that thing in the subnetting, but don't worry about that. The loopback, someone has asked the question, the loopback 127.0.0, that's the reserve one. We'll also discuss those part. Don't worry. I'm just giving you the overview right now. Okay, I'm not going in the much detail of this thing. So this is the IP addresses range we have, right? Again, now comes in the same example that I gave you, Amit, right? And Puneet over there. So Amit is living the HSR layout, right? In Bangalore. And Puneet is living in the Paschim Bihar in Delhi, right? Now, this thing, your Bangalore, assume that is your IP addresses. Your Delhi is assume that it's your IP addresses. It's a unique, because your city cannot be same, right? You cannot find the Delhi somewhere else. Like we have a Delhi in India, right? You cannot find the Delhi in the, maybe in the Afghanistan. You cannot find the Delhi in the Sri Lanka, not in the London, not in the UK, right? You cannot find it. But this HSR layout, right? It's local to that particular city. You can find it. You can find the HSR layout anywhere. Maybe you can find the HSR layout in Bangalore. Maybe it might be there in the, what we call, in the Paschim Bihar. A very good example, I will tell you. Gandhi Bazaar, right? Or MG Road. Mostly you will find the MG Road everywhere. Like MG Road we have in the Bangalore. MG Road, it's there in the Delhi as well. It's there in the Gujarat as well, Ahmedabad. So it can be, right, duplicate. So this one, right, that's a local to that particular city. right? We call this guy as a MAC addresses. Why I'm called this guy as a MAC addresses? Why I call this guy as IP addresses? Because I told you that this is the uniquely, globally uniquely. MAC address are present in the LAN side. These MAC addresses are present in the LAN side. It means that I just gave you the example, right? When I'm gonna send any data, there's a box, in that box, there's an iPhone, and I put the source information is what? Source and destination. I put the source information, I put the, what we call, HSR layout. I put the Bangalore, right? And then I put the destination is what? Pashchim Bihar, right? And then I put the Delhi over there, right? Somehow, if I'm not gonna put the Pashchim Bihar, I cannot send this data to the correct location. I cannot. Same thing is gonna happen when the two devices, right? When the two devices, for example, this is the PC number 1 and this is the PC number 2. If these two devices, they want to exchange the data, they want to exchange the traffic, they must be have IP addresses, right? I'll take example of the class A IP addresses, right? So 1.1.1.1 and 1.1.1.1.2. This should be have a MAC addresses A and B. Take example, this is the MAC, this is the IP, and this is the MAC. And this is again IP. So if the PC1 will send any traffic to the PC2, right? What should we need to maintain? We need to maintain the MAC A, MAC B, source IP 1.1.1.1.1, destination IP 1.1.1.1.2. If somehow, listen to me carefully, if somehow your MAC is not there, I cannot send the data traffic. I cannot send the traffic. So the most important factor is what? Your IP plus MAC must be there to achieve the communication. It must be there to achieve the communication. If somehow your IP is present, but there is no MAC, you cannot send the traffic. Both the information should be there. So IP is globally, right? Sometimes it's called as a layer-free addresses, right? It's always in the dotted decimal format. If I IPv4 I'm talking about right now, not the IPv6, in the dotted decimal format. And the MAC addresses are in the hexadecimal format. The size of the IPv4 is a 32-bit. The MAC is a 48-bit. You can represent the MAC like this way. For example, 1x, sorry, not x. ABC1 colon, right? ABC1 colon 212A. So this portion is going to represent at a 16-bit. This portion is going to represent a 16-bit. And this portion is going to represent 16-bit. It's total 48-bit. So single digit itself is going to represent a 4-bit. This single is a 4-bit. This single is a 4-bit. And this single is a 4-bit. So total is a 48-bit. This MAC is a totally hexadecimal format, and your IPv4, right? It's in the dotted decimal format. So this must be there on the devices. And every device is right. They have IP and MAC on the internet side. So This guy comes in the picture when you do the LAN communication. This guy comes in the picture when you do the WAN communication. As I mentioned that, right, MAN, the metropolitan area networking, right? That's just an extension of the LAN. So a group of LAN, right? Create MAN. A group of LAN that create LAN. All good? Questions, guys? Again, we have to discuss these things, what is MAC and what is IP in very detail. Again, I'm repeating, I'm not going into much detail of any topic right now. I'm just giving the overview so that you guys will become familiar with the words. Okay, because if you want to learn any technology, first you have to become familiar with the words. If you become familiar with the words, then you can understand any technology. Okay? Questions? No? Great. Now, the devices that we have, if I talk about the devices, right? In networking. See, the major part, if I talk about the devices, we have a end user. That's my PC. The host, we can call as a laptop or computer. Then we have a server. Many person has a confusion about the server. It's nothing but it's just a powerful computer. Normally, your computer, right? Your laptop. What is the RAM of that laptop? Maybe you can go with the 12 gig, 16 gig. You can go with the 128 gig, even if you want. Like you can have a 128 gig RAM as well. But you cannot go with the 5112 and 1024 something RAM, right? You cannot have it. So normally your servers are what? It's a computer. It's a computer, but it has a more storage and RAM and more CPU too, right? So this guy have a, take example, 5112 gig RAM or maybe the 1024 something RAM and 28 core processor CPU, right? Multiple SSDs over there. So servers are nothing but just a powerful computer. Then after that, we have another type of device is known as a switch. Not switch, first go with the hub. So the first device is called as a hub, right? So one of the networking device. Nowadays, we are not using this, the legacy device. I'll let you know why it's a legacy device. I'll show you the practical tomorrow, not today, right? And then after that, we have another types of device is called as a switch. Before the switch, I'll just let you know, one device came in the picture. It's called as a bridge. In 90s, 80s time. Nowadays, it's not there. Nowadays, it's not there. The bridge terminology, you will see the bridge terminology in the spanning tree protocol, but the devices is not there now. So you can find a hub. I have seen the hub in some company, they have implemented the hub. I don't know why, but yeah, I have seen the hub in the protection network too. But not in now, as I remember, it was 2017 something in some company in the Noida location. So hub, switch, and the another type of device we have a called as a router. I'll show you the picture of all these devices on a Google as well. Don't worry about that. So mainly these switches you are using in the LAN and WAN too. But just to let you know, just to make a simple right now, I'm going to use the LAN keyword. We'll use the WAN as well. once we are going to do the labs on the routing part, then I can show you how you can use the switch on the WAN side. But right now, LAN. The router we have, it's called as a WAN. Again, the hub we have, it's called as a LAN. You are going to use your PCs in the LAN side. You're going to use this server, you're going to use in the LAN side. Only the part that you can see that it's a router is going to use on the WAN side. Apart from this thing, these are the major devices I told you that, right? Apart from this thing, you have another type of devices called as access point. We'll see the use case of all these devices. Don't worry about that. Okay. We have another type of devices called as a access point. Then another type of device we have a WLC, wireless LAN controller. Right? These are the devices you have. If you just go on the Cisco website, you will find the plenty of the devices. That devices is not used for right now. Another type of device I'll let you know. One more devices we have. It's called a firewall. I'm very bad with the drawing. Yeah. So another type of device is firewall. So this comes in the security. Then we have a ICE, then you have a WLC, then you have email security appliances, right? Multiple devices are there in the networking, but majorly if I talk about, right, in your enterprise, what you are going to do the practical on which devices you're going to do the practical. You're going to do the practical on the, right? You're going to do the practical on the laptops. That's my computer, right? You're going to do the practical on this guy. You're going to do the practical on the server. I can show you the practical on the hub, but just to show you that, to understand the behavior of the hub, but it's not used in the protection network. I can show you the practical on the switch. I can show you the practical on the router. Apart from this thing, you don't have any devices in the practically purpose in the enterprise. But there is a lots of extension, right? There's a lots of extension is there in that switch, in that router. For example, like someone mic is on, please. For example, if you go in the more depth, you will find the nexus switches, right? That again, this is not a part of the syllabus, not anything. I'm just letting you know so that you will become the familiar of this word in future as well, right? So if somebody asks you, hey, have you heard that about the nexus switches? You can say, yes, I heard that, but that's not a part of the syllabus. So we have a nexus switches, right? We have a router. So router would be the enterprise router, right? The enterprise router that we are going to learn. Apart from the enterprise router, we have, guys, someone mic is on, please. So enterprise router, and apart from the enterprise router, we have something called as a service provider router. It's a very, very powerful router, very, very powerful router. In the service provider router, the further they have categorized in the different format. That's we are not going to discuss. But yeah, we have a different types of switches. We have a different types of router. We have a different types of the access point too. Majorly, we are only going to discuss about this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Guys, questions?
Hello.
Yep.
Will we get the recordings as well?
Yeah, definitely you will get the recording.
Okay, that's great. Because sometimes actually I have a busy schedule.
I
So
totally understand.
at least I can
understand
attend no classes.
You will get that recording for that one.
Okay, that's
You
great.
have
And
already-
whatever you have, shared it till now, whatever you have She read with us. It's good. It's up to the mark. But my main concern is all about the production. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm working on
definitely.
the
I'll
production
come to the
live
production.
servers.
Yeah, I'll come to the production practical as well. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
that's the better. That's the best. If you will teach us on that part, that will be far better for us.
Right now, many of the person is new, right? I don't know who has a knowledge of the basic or not. So I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to
you're
the
you're
basic one.
you're correct. That you're correct.
Right. So these are the devices we have, right? So majorly
Okay.
your LAN devices are your laptops, servers, hub, and switches, right? Your WAN devices are the router. Let me give you the one basic diagram of the topology, right? So take example, we have a one PCs, right? And these PCs are gonna connect with the devices is known as a switch, right? Again, we'll discuss this in tomorrow again. Don't worry about that. Then furtherly, this switches is gonna connect with the router, right? And this router is gonna connect with the service provider. And this switch also have some server, or maybe the switch has a printer too, right? That has a connectivity. So somebody, they want to do some printing, they can do that. So this is my normal topology we have. So if the PC1 wants to communicate with the PC2 or server, that's my printer. And these are my end host, we can call it. This is also a host. This is the switch. This is the router. And this is the internet. On the internet, we have all the users are sitting over there. So this is the normal, a simple topology. In this simple topology, you can see that all the devices are present. And from the day one, like a tomorrow onwards, we are only gonna discuss all these topologies only.
Sure.
Of course, we'll see the different topology size. Of course, like we have multiple routers and switches as well. But yeah, majorly you will focus on the only these particular type of products. All good? Anyone has a questions? I'm done with it today.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please explain to PIPA.
Oh, why not? Apipa. So, can you hold for the DSCP video? For that one, Apipa? That will be good. Because normally when the DSCP field, then Apipa comes in the picture. So if you could if you could park your question till that point, that will be good. Because if I'm going to explain the APIPA right now, automatic private IP addressing range, that's a 169 range is started. So the most of the people will not understand right now, if somebody is a fresher.
Sure. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Oh, why not? Go ahead, Gujar. Yeah, you can go ahead. You can ask the question. Can you hear me? Hello? It's not there. Okay, I can't hear you, Gujar. Okay,
No, sir. This.
yeah. So go ahead.
No, sir. I'm not. This is Bujar, I think.
Okay, yeah. So who has asked the APIPA one? You asked the APIPA one, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so just wait for the APIPA, right? Because normally, see, when you enable the DSCP, right? So when I'm gonna make a DSCP and when the DSCP will be filled, right? APIPA comes in the picture. So right now, but don't worry, we'll see that APIPA in the detail. Don't worry about that, right? I'll show you how the APIPA comes in the picture.
Okay.
Okay, because right now, if I'm gonna explain the APIPA, nobody will understand, only you will understand.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Bujay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
I
shoot your question. Yeah, please.
Yeah, the question is, I see that you draw a cloud there, cloud and router one.
Okay,
It says internet.
it's the internet,
What
right?
what kind of device takes place to connect a router to the internet? Can you explain me that?
Normally, internet is what? Internet is a collection of multiple devices, right?
Mhm.
Your router is sitting on the internet side. So normally what happened, you are connecting your router to the router, right? We draw like that, right? So that you can understand this is the multiple devices are present in that cloud, right?
Mhm.
But these are not a normal router. These are called as ASR router. XR routers are sitting over there. But this router has
Uh,
a different name. That's called as a PE router, provider edge router.
sir,
Okay.
MOX.
Yeah, ASR box.
ASR box.
So these are the
And
powerful
sir,
Or
router. That's you are gonna connect it. So normally these are the customer edge router, right? So that customer edge router has a connectivity with the powerful router. That's called an ASR router.
so the ASR router is located at
In
your
the
location, right?
yeah, in the kind of cloud side, in the internet side.
But
sir,
Yeah,
where is the ASR physically
physically,
located?
it's a physically located, right?
Where?
On the internet side. So when you take a connection with a service provider, right?
Uh-huh.
That service provider is giving you the connectivity from the ASR router to your customer router.
Yes. They give you the ASR router.
No, they will not give you they will just give you the physical line cable.
Okay. So the cable is
It's a
connected directly to the router, to
yeah,
your router.
it's a directly connected to your router.
And what kind of cable is that?
It's depend.
fiber optic.
So normally what happens depend up to your requirement, right? If you have a good budget, you can go with the fiber optic, right? If you have a long distance, go with the fiber optic. Otherwise, you can go with the UTP cable.
Mhm.
But
And
mostly it's a fiber optic
but
because
for example,
speed,
when you get a fiber optic
right?
from your service provider,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have some kind of device, other device, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a modem or something like that.
Yeah, see, modem is like a if you want to take an internet connectivity for the customer, then you can take a modem. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take an internet connectivity, take a modem. And if you don't want to, if you not directly put the cable into the router, you can put the directly cable put in the router as well. It's depend on the requirement, depend on the situation. So for example, when you want to for the home, right? Home users, right? Like me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the Wi-Fi, right? So for me, it's
Yeah.
my modem, right? My modem has a connectivity with the router. So
Uh-huh.
it's depend on the requirement.
Okay.
It's not like that everywhere you will find the modem, right? It's not like everywhere you will find the routers. And it's not like everywhere you will find the ASR router only, right? So instead of the router, I can use the firewall too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the router and firewall, I can use the layer 3 switch. So that's why I'm saying these are the very advanced level of the questions you have to put in the park, right? Until I'm not going to explain you the some routing part.
Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome. Yeah, any other one? Anyone have questions?
Sir, we are that our side.
Mm-hmm.
Airtel MOX. What is MOX, sir?
Airtel box?
ASR or MOX?
ASR router you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a ASR router. It's a service provider router, XR series of router.
This
What do you
we
want?
are called MOX.
No, this is not called a MOX. These are actually a router. Let me show you that one. Hold on. So these are the very powerful router. You can see that. Shut. So different models of the 900, 9900. And where's the images? So these are the routers we have on the service provider network. So normally even the enterprise network contains the ASR router too, if the enterprise network has a high amount of traffic, because these routers are very costly.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Great. I hope guys, everyone understood the today class, the basic one. I haven't go through the much detail about this one, but yeah, we'll have a detailed discussion of each and every topic like a wireless capturing, debug level, troubleshoot level, each and everything. But I need you like, attention in the classes and hold your questions for the at least for the 1 week, right? I know you have a lots of questions in your mind, but please hold your questions. Like a PIPA you guys have, like, you know, how the router has a connectivity with the service provider routers, right? All you will understand once the routing comes in the picture, right? Once we'll start doing the lab, all you will understand each and everything of there. Now, next part I need to come over here is what, let me pause the recording.